This is Dolany TV. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion. Never mind good afternoon, it's 7 o'clock in the evening. A little bit tired, alright, just delivered 2 after hours deliveries, but here we are. We've got news today and it sounds like things are progressing when it comes to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and a long-term extension with the Edmonton Oilers. And if that, my friends, doesn't sound like good news to you, I don't know what does. That is a huge vote in confidence that things are going the right way here in Edmonton because, right, the longest serving Oiler who's, if you're talking about, oh, poor McDavid, he's suffered so much. Well, I'm sorry. Nugent-Hopkins has been here since 2011. Give me a break for a second. Yes, I know it's McDavid. Oh, my goodness. But give yourself a head shake and let's move on to the fact that Nugent-Hopkins has been here since 2011. Nugent-Hopkins, realistically speaking, probably shouldn't have played his rookie year in Edmonton. He should have still been in the WHL, developed that one extra year, came up and absolutely lit on the NHL on fire. However, that was just par for the course back then. If you're a number one overall pick, you're in the lineup night number one of the next season because, my goodness, we're a dumpster fire. We need to drive fans. Well, you know what? Now, all of a sudden, you've got the Oilers finishing second in the Pacific Division this past season, making the playoffs. Yes, again, if you're going to go against me on this one, you're not going to win this argument, but you can. Freedom to do so. But Nugent-Hopkins then goes on to light it up in the postseason as well. Absolutely bananas numbers when it came to the postseason, and realistically, numbers he well deserved after everything he's been through here in Edmonton. So the crazy part about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is he went from 13 playoff games of experience with 4 points to now 17 games of playoff experience. And don't tell me what doesn't count counts. Cap Friendly counts it as playoffs. So, I mean, Cap Friendly is pretty reliable. And I'm not Cap Friendly. So, 2-2, my friends. 2-2. And now 12 points in the playoffs. So Nugent-Hopkins, all of a sudden, that's a couple of series in the playoffs. Well, that's 1, 2. If you get swept, that's, it won 5 games. That's 4 playoff series, technically speaking, if you get swept 3 times and play to game 5, or if you sweep and win one and then go to game 5 and lose, however you want to look at it. But my goodness, that is a big change from what it was about 7 months ago when the season paused and we went into La La Land. So, Nugent-Hopkins, well, we're talking an extension. Why would we want to extend Ryan Nugent-Hopkins? Shouldn't he just be traded? Like, oh my goodness, we could get so much for him. Hello? Where else do you see anything on this Oilers roster that by trading Nugent-Hopkins, you're going to get more to the roster than you have in Nugent-Hopkins? You're not. Newsflash, okay? Is any Nugent-Hopkins trade is going to be a massive loss for the general manager making it, and that would be Ken Holland. And Ken Holland, you know what, I still judging by what the plan with Athanasiou is, this guy doesn't settle for a loss or an L in the column very easily. So we'll keep tuned on that. I don't see Ken Holland doing something stupid and trading Nugent-Hopkins, who, my friends, if you're unfamiliar with, had 61 points in 65 games played. Yeah, 65 minus 61, that's 4-point difference. Points to game, that's like a .96 points per game ratio. My goodness, name a better Oiler on the roster, not named McDavid or Draisaitl. You can't. It's Nugent-Hopkins. Good night. Argument closed. Keep Nuge forever. Oilers Nation, light yourself up because I'm using your phrase. And hey, you know what? Let's go. I'm in agreement here. Is the simple fact, if there is one front as Oilers fans to be united on when it comes to one single thing about our favorite team, the team we cheer for, the team we hate, the team we cry about, the team in the NHL that makes us feel the most emotions, I guess I should say, it is the fact that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins needs to be, and will be an Edmonton Oiler for life. This guy, like I said right off the top, has suffered through all the nonsense. Not just some of the nonsense McDavid suffered through. No, all of the nonsense. Yeah, McDavid was here for some of that Andrew Ference debacle. No. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was here for all of it. So let's keep that in mind, shall we? As there's a lot to be thought on here when it comes to Nugent-Hopkins. But because of that, there is absolutely nothing to be thought on. You keep Nuge forever. You keep it simple. You keep the face of the franchise. Yes, you can say McDavid's the face of the franchise. Well, no, he's the face of the NHL. He's the captain of the Oilers. Leon Draisaitl, is he the face of the franchise? I mean, that's a good argument. But he's the face of German hockey in the professional leagues. Okay, so you eliminate two guys who have different responsibilities elsewhere. Where does that leave you? That leaves you Nugent-Hopkins, the longest serving Edmonton Oiler, who is the, I guess if you don't want to use face of the franchise because that offends you, how about we use the heartbeat of the organization, the guy that literally is where this team came from. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is the beginning of the Edmonton Oilers as we know them. Right? Longest serving Oiler. That's a fair statement. You can't argue that. You absolutely can't. And that's the beautiful part of it. Is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is how we got here. You followed Nugent-Hopkins' career. You look at every Oilers roster that has had Nugent-Hopkins on it. That is how we got to a 4-game situation against the Chicago Blackhawks in August 2020. Nugent-Hopkins. Mic drop right there. Done. I don't need to say anything more. But we do. We need to talk about the extension and kind of where we are and where we're getting to. Nugent-Hopkins sitting pretty at $6 million next season, guaranteed a contract next year, and then we go into his unrestricted free agency years, right? He is now 27 years old, so we got to sign him into a UFA deal after that expires in 2021. We're progressing to that deal now. And what do you see that being? 27, 28 for Nugent-Hopkins with this new deal in tow. So, okay, 28, 29 by the time it starts. Let me get an actual estimate on that. So, 1993. So, yeah, 28 by the time this deal starts for him. So, okay, 28, 6 years? Yeah, lock him up. Lock him up for another 6 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 years count them last time around. Now you go 6.5, 7 by 6, and you get the job done. I'm not sure how you can argue that. 6.5 is my number, and that is just due to the cap situation, right? Is unfortunately for Nugent-Hopkins, finally he's gotten his career fully on track. He's a point per game player in the NHL, or damn near. And he's not going to get the big pay raise he wanted because pandemic. Dang, right? That's a tough blow. As I said, this guy suffered the most out of any other Edmonton Oiler on the roster when it comes to being in Edmonton the longest. So, well, he deserves a pay raise because he wants to be here. He wants to be part of the solution. He wants to lift that cup at Rogers Place in an Oilers uniform and get the job done. Well, dang, he's not going to get paid like he should for everything else. And that's tough. Because, I mean, right, is this guy you want to see get paid. If you're a real Oilers fan, you want to see Nugent-Hopkins happy. And unfortunately, no matter how you look at hockey, hockey is a business. To Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, being in an Oilers uniform is a paycheck as well. And you need to make sure those dollar signs cross. Now, make of it what you will. The millionaires making $1 million, $6 million to play hockey. The argument is market value. And market value for Nugent-Hopkins pre-March 2020 was probably, we were talking $8 million at one point. Now, we're probably talking closer to that 6.5 that I had hoped it would be. Because, man, I love saving a dollar, and I love saving that dollar to use on a guy that's going to help on the back end or in the net or wherever. But you know what? Now it's a survival of the fittest, and that's the situation in a flat cap situation we find ourselves. Nugent-Hopkins isn't going to get the dollars he wants, but now maybe it's more of a term question. I guess we'll figure that out as it goes along. Ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing here to argue. There's only things to say how awesome Nugent-Hopkins has been, how awesome it will continue to be, and how awesome it'll be to see him one day after playing, 18, 19 seasons in an Oilers uniform, play that final game and have a much, much more emotional goodbye than Ryan Smith could have ever dreamed of. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyson. This is Stall TV. I will catch you in the next one. I am up on out of here.